Full PLL on a 3x3 Rubik's Cube has 21 algorithms. Full OLL has 57. But that's just a fraction of the number of algorithms in this alg set. Full PLL on a megaminx has 151 algorithms, and they took me over 3 years to learn. Here's how I did it. First, how exactly does megaminx PLL work? PLL is grouped into 26 subsets, one for each letter of the alphabet. Each of these sets has a defining characteristic, such as the B set having 2 R blocks, the J set having a large block, and the G set having a 1x2 with headlights. Each subset contains between 1 and 12 cases, which are numbered to differentiate them, and most also have either a plus or a minus to indicate mirrors. This grouping, created by James McDiarmid, makes learning and recognizing PLL much easier. However, there's a much better naming system. There's exactly 151 PLLs. You know what else there's exactly 151 of? Gen 1 Pokemon. In addition to creating the letter-based system, James also assigned every single megaminx PLL case a Pokemon. Using Pokemon names is clearly the optimal way to name PLLs, and it just makes sense to talk to others using the Pokemon names. Just kidding, letters make way more sense. Anyway, naming conventions aside, here's how I learned full PLL. The first PLL that I learned was the Z1 perm. I distinctly remember learning it at Dallas Cube Miss 2019, which was the first time I competed in megaminx. Someone showed me that you could solve a Z1 perm, which can be recognized by these two edge swaps, by doing a combination of 2 OLLs from 3x3. Since it was really easy to memorize and recognize, it was the first PLL that I was actually able to one-look in real solves. At this point, I didn't even know full 4-look last layer yet, and I was still doing commutators for almost all, if not all, of the CP cases, so it's kind of funny that I learned a 1-look PLL before those. After that, I learned the rest of 4-look last layer, but I didn't actually consider learning more 1-look PLLs until 6 months later in June of 2020. That's when I first attempted to learn full PLL. I got about 40 algs in before giving up. That might sound like a lot, but it really isn't saying much because half of those algorithms are from 4-look last layer and the other half are all really easy cases. Also, it's worth mentioning that at this time, a full megaminx PLL trainer didn't even exist yet. The best one only had 80 out of the 151 cases. But I can't really use the lack of a trainer as an excuse because all of the algorithms that I was learning back then were a part of the 80 that the trainer actually had. Anyway, over the next few years, I tried to learn full PLL several times, but gave up every time. The farthest I got was about 60 algorithms, which is not even close to full PLL. My megaminx global got to sub 45 just using 4-look last layer, which is where it becomes really important to learn full PLL, but I just couldn't do it. Then on January 1st, 2023, I decided to give full PLL one more attempt. I wanted to get better at megaminx, and I knew that full PLL was one of the most important things that I needed to learn. I only remembered about 40 PLLs because I had forgotten a lot, but I was able to quickly relearn them and get back to my peak of knowing about 60. I spent the next few weeks learning an average of nearly 4 algorithms a day, and I was able to progress through PLL extremely quickly. Learning at this rate was definitely not easy, and I had to review like 10 times a day to actually remember all the algs I was learning. But it was worth it. By January 21st, less than 3 weeks after deciding to learn full PLL, I only had one subset left, X-perms. X-perms are by far the worst PLL subset as there are no blocks and no headlights to aid in recognition. They're so hard to recognize that doing 2-look PLL is almost just as fast as doing 1-look PLL. But in order to be completely done with full PLL, I had to learn them. So I spent the next few days doing just that. And on January 24th, 2023, I officially learned the last algorithm, the X7 minus perm, and was 100% done with full PLL. It'll take lots and lots of practice to get used to recognizing PLLs and executing them quickly, but I'm sure that once I get good at that, full PLL will be a lot faster than 2-look. I'm super happy to finally finish full PLL, especially since I've tried and failed so many times in the past. That is basically it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.